Hello? Hello? Can you hear me okay? The stream is going to start and stop probably every, I would say, 5 minutes. Hello? How are we? How are we? Hi, everyone. We are streaming on Wi-Fi right now. And I don't know how some of you do this. I don't know how you do it. But we're here. We made it. Hi, Miles. Welcome in, everyone. Shout out to Kiki, Bestiny, and Maxine for remembering the first, second, and third redemptions. I did not. All right, sounds good. I'm not really planning to do anything today. I don't think... Well, I'm not sure if we could stream a game or not, but I figured we would just catch up today anyway, because it's been a hot minute since the bitch has been around. How is everyone? Hello? It's been a journey. Hi, Kayla. Welcome in. Kayla, it's actually fun you mentioned that because maybe like a week ago, I was talking to somebody about you as well. I have a little bag, like a little zipper bag, with the picture you drew of me on it. It's what I keep my Carrie the One stickers in. And we were bringing some stickers to my nurses at the hospital that I stayed in. And they were asking about, they thought I drew it. And I was like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Officially sick. Well, that just means you get to stay home and take care of yourself, right? And by take care of yourself, I mean not wear pants. Obviously. I'm not wearing pants. Full disclosure. This is the most clothed I've been in a very long time, but I am still not wearing pants. Whoops. Thank you for the follow. Not that. Not that. Oh, I wonder if those are stream elements. Should probably figure that out, huh? Whoops. Hi, Sadly. Welcome in. How are you? How is everyone? How have you been for the last 8 months? I feel very awkward, I'm not gonna lie. Sitting here trying to figure out everything. I felt like a newborn baby streamer. I couldn't figure out where the button was to update my like title and everything. It took me a solid 10 minutes to figure that out. Not that, Maxine. Well, as you should. As you should. I missed you too. I missed you all. It was I realized very quickly how much I forgot about the cards. I forgot about those. I was wondering, I have a source on this scene called Carrie, and I couldn't remember what the hell that was to save my life, and now I remember. Razor, thank you for subscribing. Shout out to the 4 of you who stayed subscribed to me while I was not streaming at all for 8 months. Thank you for that. And welcome back, Razor. Hello, Goose. We're in the living room now. Sun's out, tits out. I mean, if that's not the theme for the summer, I don't know what is. Hi, Raven. How are you, my love? I don't know if any of the sound commands work. It did work. I don't know if you all heard it, but when Razor sent his first message in chat, it said gay. But it came out my speakers and not out of my headset like it was supposed to, so. Is it working? You decide. I don't know. I just work here. But yeah, obviously things have been less than ideal for me. Everything just getting dusted. That must be it. I've had this PC set up here pretty much since I got back here, honestly. My nephew set it up for me. But I just didn't have all the streaming stuff set up. So like my stream deck, and I didn't have a microphone or a camera set up on it. So my brother and my nephew helped me get it set up. And then I was like, I don't know, is anybody even going to show up? It's been so long. And so I like talked myself out of it. And then I'm very self-conscious about how I like look and sound right now. Something like that, Maxine, yeah. And then the internet here is also, basically the way it works, I'm staying with my sister now. So I live with my sister and my nephew. That's who you just saw. I have 2 sisters. Both of those sisters live next door to each other. So there's this apartment, and then the one right next to it is my other sister, and my other nephew lives there. And she pays for internet, and everybody just sort of shares it. So there is no actual like router or modem in the apartment I'm in right now. So the only option I have right now is Wi-Fi. And it's Spectrum, which is not ideal, and it's not as fast as what I had when I was streaming before I got sick. So it is what it is. Like I said, it might disconnect every once in a while. It looks like I'm doing okay on frames right now, even though I don't know how. I think if I tried to stream a game, it would probably be a different story. But eventually, if I find that this is something I can do comfortably, sitting for a long period of time is still kind of hard for me. But what I might do is just pay to get better internet installed here. But we'll see. That's TBD. Low-key made besties with your sister. I know, my sister's like friends with all of you randomly now. One of the things that was strangest was like for the first like month or so after I was hospitalized, I don't remember a ton of that. I was pretty heavily medicated and sedated. But I remember waking up and seeing like my best friend from high school standing next to Jared, standing next to my sister, and thinking like like the combination of people was just really like jarring for me. Not the random hype train. Thank you for the hype train. I appreciate it. I don't know why it just kicked in now. Oh, there it is. Love that. Thank you, Raven, for the resub. Enjoy your card. Sounds like a reality TV show. It kind of is. It's really helpful. It's nice to have so much family around. Especially the first few weeks that I was here, I was still kind of dependent on other people to do a lot of stuff for me. So having someone around all the time was really nice. But it has its moments. Thank you so much for the resub, Raven. I appreciate you. Hi, Wheels. Everybody's changed their name on here too. Congratulations on the rebrands, all of you. I am alive. It was close for a minute there, but we're good. How am I feeling now? I'm feeling a lot better than I was. It's hard to know where to start. Like, I'm okay now. Short answer, I'm okay. There's still a lot, obviously. Like, Kayla, thank you for the 100 bits. I appreciate you. I feel like I could never change my Twitch name. You probably would never be able to change it back. They would probably catch you on the G word. Rebrand was just me giving up on drag. I mean, hey, it'll always be there if you want to come back to it. That's what I'm banking on. I have one wig in the corner of my room. I have all my makeup and none of my clothes. And I don't think any of it's going to fit me anymore because I lost like 100 pounds while I was in the hospital. Short answer, I'm okay now. I don't have any tubes or anything, which was a big thing. I had something called a wound vac, which is a device that they attach to you. And basically it suctions the drainage from a wound. So I have a large wound on my back it started as a, yeah, the kitty pillow, yeah. The cats are really upset that the vac's gone. So I was hospitalized because I had what was called a pilonidal cyst. So it was a cyst at sort of the top of my tailbone. And I knew that I had it, but I thought I was taking care of it. I was putting the stuff on it that's supposed to take like the stuff out of it. But apparently it became infected. And it was where it was in just the right spot that I couldn't see it myself. I couldn't see it in the mirror. I don't have like a floor length mirror or anything. And by the time it became an issue where I was living before, Jared wasn't living there anymore, so I was living alone. There was nobody else who was going to see it either. So it got infected, and it became necrotic, which means the tissue was dying, and it did something called tunneling. So when I landed in the hospital, if you looked at my back, there was a spot on my back that was black. And when the doctors went in to kind of figure out what the extent was, it had kind of tunneled up underneath my skin. So at its worst, it was from my tailbone almost up to my shoulder blades, but most of it was under the skin. It's much smaller now. Had to go to the emergency room. Remember me about how bad that. Yeah, I had no idea. I had no idea how bad they could get. Mine was exacerbated by the fact that I am also diabetic, which I didn't know at the time either. So that's how I found out I have diabetes. So you might hear there's this device now. I have one of those continuous glucose monitors. So if you hear weird vibrating and beeping, it's just this thing telling me that I'm high or low. How does one acquire the cyst? It just kind of happens. It's it could be an ingrown hair. It could be like a blackhead that just gets out of control. There's no the cyst itself isn't necessarily a problem. If I had gone, and this is why I keep hammering home the point that like if I had gone to a doctor and been seeing a doctor regularly, this wouldn't have happened. I could have just gone to a doctor and had it drained and had it like taken care of, but I wasn't seeing a doctor. For those of you who remember, I had been laid off and I was still looking for a full-time job. I couldn't afford health insurance. I couldn't afford to go to the doctor. So all of this sort of happened in part because I wasn't seeing a doctor. So take solace if you're someone who sees a doctor pretty regularly in knowing that this is the kind of thing that typically they catch. So, um, I again, I don't remember a lot of like the early first like few weeks to a month or so. Um, but I've pieced a lot of it together by going back through my DMs. So like looking at the text messages and like the Discord messages that I was sending with folks. I knew that something was wrong and I wasn't feeling well, but I thought I just had a bug. I thought it was like a cold or something. I know that I wasn't sleeping. My back hurt, but it didn't occur to me that it could be because of something like that. I thought I just wasn't sleeping and that was making my back hurt. Um, and so basically what happened was I put off going to the doctor until eventually my sister got me to agree to go to ER basically. And I said, okay, tomorrow after you get out of work, I'll go to the ER and we'll get this looked at. My sister got to my apartment to pick me up so that we could go to the hospital, and she heard Goose howling. Sorry, I get emotional. Goose was howling, and luckily she had the code to get in my door. But she came in, and I was passed out on the floor already. I had made it like she couldn't tell if I was going to my room or from my room, but I had fallen on the floor and had kind of like landed in the dog bed a little bit, but I was unconscious. We don't know how long I was unconscious for. We don't know. We don't know. And so she called 911 and they brought me in an ambulance. So, yeah. It was a lot. Like I said, they brought me. I don't remember any of it. It's probably for the best that I don't remember it. I was in a coma for 8 days. And then even after I woke up from the coma, I was still intubated for a long time. And they keep you sedated so that you don't try to rip the tube out. So, like I said, for about a month or so, I was pretty out of it. There was a period of time where I couldn't really tell the difference between what was real and what was made up in my head. I remember watching TV there and seeing commercials and thinking that I could reach into the commercial. I was so hungry because I wasn't eating the whole time I was intubated, obviously. And I remember watching like a Burger King commercial and wanting to reach into the fucking TV and grab the food because I was so hungry and thinking that that was somehow something I could do. Obviously that's not something they've invented yet, but I was convinced. I appreciate it, Maxine. This has changed a lot of things for me. So yeah. So I was in the ICU for like a month. Over the course of the time, I was admitted September 6th, and I didn't get discharged until April 1st of this year. And over the course of that time, I've had 30 or so surgeries, mostly to go in and clean out. It's called debriding. Insert gay joke here. But debriding is where they go in basically and remove dead tissue. So for the first, like, I would say 3 or 4 months that I was there, most of what they were doing was taking infected dead tissue and cleaning it out of my body. And then they started using this medication that helps kind of refill and regenerate tissue. I know Razor. Hi, Steven. I love you too. 25 minutes. I know. Count on me to find a way to make it about reading. And so then once they were able to get the infection out, I had this big hole in my back and this big kind of, it ate through a lot of the tissue that I had in my back. And so they put this, it was a powder, it looked like Parmesan cheese that they would put on the wound bed, and that helped create tissue to fill in that hole, basically. Um, it took a long time for that to happen. It still hasn't filled in all the way, almost all the way now. My wound is pretty much like level with the skin now. It still looks really gnarly. I have pictures, but I figured I would spare you all of that in the Discord. It looks sort of like a thong or a uterus. Those are the two things that I keep getting. But I know the Parmesan cheese. Anyway, so that's what I was doing in the hospital for the majority of the time I was there, was either getting dead tissue cleaned out, or working toward getting... Hi, Tyler. You too. Thank you, thank you. Is the stream crunchy? I haven't seen any drop frames, but I'm still not convinced this internet's going to work, so we'll see. There were some like random complications and things. I don't have any light either, so as it gets darker out, you're just going to be able to see me like less and less, because I don't have my lights and stuff yet. You don't see any crunch. Love that. There is an ad starting in 3 minutes. So sorry. Are we still good? I had to go and say something about it. I know, we had to go and bring it up. Okay, we're back. Again, I'm on Wi-Fi, so the Wi-Fi here randomly disconnects and then reconnects. Thank you, Spectrum. But, like I said, if I'm able to, and if I feel good sitting here through a stream, we'll get better internet here, and it'll be something that won't happen anymore. But for now, we're just going to deal with it. I know, crunchy, 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 crunch, crunch. I don't know where it cut me off, but I still walk kind of funny. I won't show you because I'm in my underwear right now, but I still don't have all the strength back in my legs, especially. So I have a walker that I use if I'm out and about. It's one of those 4-wheel ones. But things have gotten a lot better. So I have home health nurses who come in 3 times a week. They come in Monday, Wednesday, and Friday to change the dressing on my wound because it's on my back. I can't do it myself. And we're just taking one day at a time. I have a lot of appointments that I have to go to. I still go back to the hospital to the wound. There's like a wound center there, so that my surgeon can keep an eye on me. When I left the hospital, the future plan looked like skin grafts, potentially. But most recently, when I went to the clinic and the doctor saw me, he said that if I keep healing at the rate that I am, that I might not need skin grafts at all, which would be very nice because that doesn't sound like a very fun procedure. But again, we'll see what happens. We'll see. At this point, I'm kind of just listening to the doctors, and I came home and not only was I dealing with the wound and kind of the everything that goes into taking care of that, but I also was dealing with this diabetes diagnosis that I hadn't had before. That's been a lot to get used to. So I like I said, I have a continuous glucose monitor now, but for a long time I was pricking my finger at breakfast, lunch, dinner, and at bedtime and taking my blood sugar, and I'm on insulin and I have to watch my diet. Oh, definitely Maxine. And they've come out of the woodwork. There've been a lot of people who've been like, well, this works for me. I'm like, all right, no thanks. No more nerd gummy cluster. Well, I I have to be careful. Um, like I had ice cream the other day, and it was fine. But I just have to be careful not to go too high on my blood sugar. That's all. When I got into the hospital, my blood sugar was like 600 or 700, which is super dangerously high. I thought I had a bug. So I spent the whole week before I went into the hospital drinking orange juice, thinking that I was helping. Orange juice is really high in sugar. So I was actually making things way worse, but I didn't know that at the time. Hi, Andy. Thank you. Thank you. I feel pretty good today. That's why I was like, let's take advantage, and even if it ends up being crunchy or doesn't work or everything's broken, I felt like I was in a place today where I could deal with at least some of that. So far so good. We've only stopped the stream twice in 33 minutes. Um, so there's nothing that I like can't have per se. I just have to be careful about it. Like right now, my sugar is 134, which is pretty good for me. I tend to float kind of between 140 and 160 on average. Um, but sometimes, like, I'll wake up first thing in the morning and it'll be like 200 out of nowhere. So if it's up high like that, obviously pump the brakes on the gummy clusters. But I can't have them as much as I was having before. So, my doctor is, or my primary care provider, she's not a doctor. Um, she's very confident that I'm young enough and we caught the diabetes early enough that I should be able to manage it pretty well, and that eventually we might be able to get me off of some of the medications that I'm on, and that I won't necessarily need as much insulin to keep my blood sugar in check. But having a wound also throws your blood sugar off, and there's so much that my body is putting into healing that wound right now that that probably won't happen until after the wound is healed. So it was the bean boozles. They'll get you. They'll get you. So yeah, I'm still not sure what like normal is gonna look like for me. I'm not working still. I've applied for disability. I'm still waiting to hear. We'll see. It's a new normal, and I spent a lot of time like mourning or grieving whatever my life was before all of this, and I've learned a lot about the people in my life. There were a lot of people who really disappointed me. But there were a lot more people who really showed up for me. Sorry. I I love you all too. Sorry. If you could hear that, that's the litter box. I live with 2 cats now. Hi Chris, welcome in. Jared's not around anymore. I'll go ahead and just say it. I don't want to get into the details. I haven't spoken to Jared since my birthday. He came to visit me once while I was in the hospital, and that was it. He's moved on. I'm made the decision to stop trying to make him be the friend that I wanted him to be. He doesn't give a shit about Goose. He doesn't give a shit about me. So we're done with him. And that's all I'm really gonna say about that. Probably for now. Probably I'll say more later. But it's just I at the risk of sounding cheesy, life is too short to be putting so much effort and energy into people who aren't trying. Andy lives several hours away from me, and she visited almost every single weekend. There were a couple times that she was sick or someone in her family was sick and she didn't want to bring it and make me sick. But generally speaking, almost every Saturday or Sunday, Andy came to visit. And she sat there watching Food Network with me for hours. She would rub my feet for me and my legs because I couldn't move my fucking legs. And so I just don't have any interest in making the effort when someone else isn't making the effort. So Schwill, same thing. Schwill visited not every weekend, but pretty frequently. He also lives pretty far away. So I guess I really felt like the bar was underground and was still too high. So it is what it is. I'm still not over it, but I'm tired of being under it. The realist. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Like I had this woman I used to work with years ago. I left that job in 2018, I think. And this woman I worked with at that job visited me probably 4 or 5 times. Every time she brought me a check. She doesn't do like I have like a GoFundMe set up. She doesn't do that, but she would bring me a check every single time. Not every time. I would try to get her to take it back. So I there are too many people who did show up for me to be as hung up as I was on the people who weren't. And that was a shift that I really needed. I appreciate it, Maxine. I would have been okay with it. But I understand. There were a lot of people who were like, I want to visit or I want to come bring you something, but I don't know if that's the right thing. It's hard to know what's helpful in those moments. Yeah, that's true, sadly. It's really true. And sometimes we learn the hard way. Sometimes we need to learn a few times before it sticks, and that's okay. But yeah, it sucked. I mean, nobody. I was there for so long that it started to feel like my home, and I started like forgetting what it felt like to be part of like the world. Not to be dramatic. But I was just there for so long that it felt like I was spinning my wheels while everybody else was still going. And it was nice to be home. Thank you, sadly. I know it was a lot. And I'm really grateful that my family jumped in like they did. By the time I woke up, my family had cleaned out my apartment. They had put all my stuff in a storage unit. They were working with my landlord. My landlord even came to visit me twice in the hospital. And they texted a bunch. I appreciate that, Kayla. Thank you. Thank you. My sister in particular, the one I'm living with, She is one of those people who's like really good with kind of like the paperwork side of things, administrative stuff. She works at a bank, so she's very like um, task oriented in that way. So by the time I woke up, I she was my power of attorney all of a sudden. I was her power of attorney. Um, she had signed me up for, it's called Main Care. It's like our state Medicare insurance, so that I wouldn't have to pay quite as much out of pocket. Um, and she had really just kind of taken charge on a lot of that stuff, so that I didn't have to try to play catch up once I woke up and was able to maybe do some of that stuff myself. So yeah, my family was really great. My sister took my dog. That was really my biggest concern when I woke up, was who has Goose, and is he okay? Um, he's been staying here with my nephew and my sister ever since I went into the hospital. They brought him to visit me a couple times. He's super attached to both of them. They're both attached to him. I think he likes my sister more than he likes me now. Um, so it's been, he gets along with the cats. He will chase them. You'll see him zip by because he does like to chase them, but they start it. She'll start it. This one right here. She'll go stand in front of him and wiggle her tail. And far be it for me to be like she's asking for it, but she knows what she's doing. Yeah. So Main Care has been helping a lot. It doesn't cover everything. So the spot fund, the GoFundMe link that we circulated, that has been very helpful. I also still don't have an income, so that's been helpful with things like paying my cell phone and like taking care of bills and things. Um, so family, community is, yeah, exactly, Raven. And it brought us a lot closer too. Like my siblings and I we weren't super close. We didn't talk every day or anything beforehand, and it's changed the relationship I have with them now for sure. Hi CK, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. XY Princess, thank you so much for gifting that sub to Sadly. I appreciate you. So that's where we're at. It's I still have a long way to go. And there are good days and bad days. There, like yesterday, I wasn't feeling great. Typically, the days that I have my dressing changed, I don't always feel super great. So like Monday, Wednesday, Friday aren't phenomenal for me. Glad you're back. Thank you so much. Oh, that's your sister. We love a sibling moment. We love a sibling moment. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I'm glad to be back too. So yeah, I when the nurses come to do my, does it hurt much? Not as much as it used to. So there's, so one of the things that they had to do while I was in the hospital, they suspected that CK, thank you so much for the Prime sub. Oh, there. She's a little rusty. We're still shaking off the rust, but thank you so much for the Prime sub. You all don't have to subscribe. Let's be clear. I am not committing to streaming on any sort of schedule or anything right now, so I can't promise you're going to get anything for your sub. But enjoy the emotes at least. They suspected for a while I was in there that I had a basically a specific type of bone infection, and the only way they could determine for sure whether or not I had that infection was to take a piece of my tailbone off, to cut it off. And so they did that because my tailbone was exposed because of the wound. But that meant that as everything kind of healed over, there was sort of like a sharp point to my tailbone that didn't exist before. It's a big part of why sitting it for extended periods of time is still kind of hard for me. So the area around my tailbone is still pretty sensitive, and there's a spot on my right like flank that randomly, there's nothing, you can't see anything there. It doesn't look red. There's no visual indicator that there's something different about that part, but every time they go to take the dressing off that part of my body, it feels like they're peeling the skin off. Um, but other than that, it's gotten a lot better. Um, this dressing that I have now is only held on with its medical tape. So they have like an adhesive remover they can spray it with, and it pretty much comes off by itself. When I was still using the wound vac, that required, it had to be airtight. And so they used this, it's called Tegaderm, it's like a clear plastic. Um, because basically the wound vac is like a machine, and then there's a tube, and there's like a little round disc that they put on your wound, and that's the part that like suctions the stuff out. Um, so it needed to be airtight, but it was so big that I ran into a lot of issues with it not being airtight enough, or I'd have a leak, or um, sometimes the tube would get like clogged. It's just kind of a pain in the ass. Wound vacs are insane. It was bad. I had 2 of them when I was in the hospital. And the ones that they have in the hospital. Chris, thank you so much for the Prime sub. Take that, Jeff Bezos. The ones that they have in the hospital are big. They're like, it's like the size of like a small little like TV or something. And so I was hauling 2 of them around for a while. But the one that they send you home with is smaller. But it was still a pain in the ass because I had to carry it. So I felt like I could only use one arm for everything because I had to carry the wound vac. Carry the wound vac, coming to a Twitch channel near you. But I don't anymore. It's what they put on now. It's called an ABD dressing. It's like it's like a typical wound dressing. It's absorbent. So on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, when the nurses come, they call me in the morning and tell me what time they're going to be here. So they send 2 nurses, and I pre-medicate. So I have a pain pill that I take about half an hour before they get here, and that helps a little bit, but it's still not painless. But it's much less painful than it used to be. They used to, most of the surgeries that I had, the 30 surgeries I had in the hospital, most of them were them doing this same thing that they're doing now, but they were knocking me out for it. So because my wound was so big, they were putting me under to do my wound vac changes, and they would take the dressing off and replace the dressing. But one of the conditions of me coming home was I needed to be able to do these wound dressing changes without any kind of anesthetic, because obviously they can't put me to sleep at home. Do you use Optifoam? I don't think so. What they just started, because they literally just put me on this absorbent dressing on Monday. The stuff they use is called Mextra with an M. It has like a blue backing on it. It's supposed to be super absorbent, I guess. So far so good. This dressing is a little bit less flexible. So I noticed, for example, like if I bend forward and try to pick something off the floor, this hurts a little bit more because it doesn't stretch quite as much as the plastic that I had on before did. But it's worth it to get rid of the vac. So I've been able to get up and move around a lot more. I feel sturdier on my feet. I used to be really wobbly. They wouldn't let me walk in the hospital. They wouldn't let me walk by myself. I had to have a staff member with me. I don't feel like I need to have someone with me now. Stretch your butt out early. Got it. Yeah, my room is like the reason I can't have my computer in my room, which would be my preference. It feels weird to be streaming out in like a public space like this. Like I feel like I'm keeping other people from using the living room because I'm in here. But the reason I couldn't have it in my bedroom is because there's so much medical crap. I still have the wound vac. They're doing this as like a trial thing, so I go back in 2 weeks and they'll take a look and make sure that this dressing is working. It's possible technically it's possible they could put me back on the wound vac, but I don't think they're going to. All of the like foam dressings that I used to have with the wound vac, I've got boxes and boxes of those. And then like gauze and wound cleanser and this stuff called skin prep that you put on and it makes things stick to you better. So there's just no room in my room for much else other than medical stuff. And then my sister set up my room and it actually looks really good. She did a really great job. There's a lot of stuff from my old room in there, or my old apartment. So it's been an adjustment. Like I said, there's still a lot to be done, but I feel this week really has been the first time that I felt like I really believe I can get back to something close to normal. Um, I always was like, this is going to change things for me forever. And that is true to an extent, but I think once I can get this wound closed all the way, that'll really change things. I've dealt with a lot of issues because my body is putting so much into healing this wound that it can't handle other stuff. So, like, for example, while I was in the hospital, I had an ingrown toenail on my big toe on my left foot. That was months ago. That still hasn't healed. So they cut the toenail and it's not ingrown anymore, but the wound that created is still open on my toe. Partially because I'm diabetic and things just take longer to heal now, but also because I have this wound and my body is putting so many resources into healing that. Um, Princess, I think they said it was 20, 30 centimeters wide and like 17 or 18 long. Um, it goes from kind of the middle of my back down to my tailbone, to my sacrum. It used to go all the way up to my shoulder blades. Yeah, I know, Andy. It still hasn't. The right toe is healed, but for some reason the left one just this isn't doing the same. So there will be stuff like that. Like I don't heal as quickly as I used to. I'm cold all the time. All the time. Using all that energy to heal must really tire you out. Yeah, I sleep a lot. Um, I take naps now. The right one was about the same. Um, we think the left one got infected, which might be part of why it hasn't healed as quickly, but also diabetes. So, um, so yeah, it's gonna be kind of touch and go, and I, like I said, I'm finally feeling good enough that I want to start getting back into some of the things I was doing before this. Um, so streaming will be a big part of that. Hopefully. Again, I'm not sure what'll happen if I try to play a game. Maybe